from my old show, which was called Cine Show. I had it on not last quarter, but the quarter before that. And I was on the air for like 2 years, and I would do movies, occasionally TV. So this is like a reboot of that show, basically. It's the same idea. I just wanted to have a new name because I ended the show on a good note, and if you want to ever see my shows, I posted them on YouTube. You just type in Cineshow, CINESHOW, and then KUCI on YouTube, and I'm the yellow icon. The yellow profile pic is me. And yeah, you can look at my show. Posted basically everything on there. But on this show, unfortunately, we only got 30 minutes, at least for this quarter. So, for now, it will do. But, yeah, so on today's episode, we're going to be doing a show, actually. And it's going to be a Star Wars show on Disney Plus that I just recently watched. It's called The Bad Batch. And I don't know if anyone's seen the Clone Wars, but this is essentially like a Clone Wars sequel show. I got a lot of thoughts on it, but in 30 minutes I'll probably just keep it relatively brief, and we will also talk about the best episodes, the problems with the show, the areas where the show actually improves on the Clone Wars, areas where it definitely falls short. And on this first episode, I'm going to be posting this all to YouTube, so I assume you can find it if you just type in Rollercoaster in the Clouds, KUCI, because that's what I'm going to name the channel. And on this first episode, the audio is not going to be very good because I forgot my cable that allows me to do that, so it's just recorded on my phone this time, but that's okay. Yeah, so let's get into it. First off, I'd like to say that overall, I consider it a very good show. I don't think it's great. I think it's very good. And, it has moments where it reaches greatness, for sure, and we'll get into that. But, overall, I would say it's a very good show. It's got, it is like a refuge from the Disney Star Wars paradigm of nonsense and junk. But, occasionally Disney does peek its head in there. And I'll talk a little bit about that. However, it overall is quality storytelling. Give me 1 second. Sorry. I just gotta get something here. Okay, I got it. Just gotta get some water. Okay. So Bad Batch, undoubtedly, the one area I would say it blows the Clone Wars out of the water is animation. The Clone Wars never ever really wowed anybody with its animation. I think that the animation style got a lot better as you continued watching the show, because I started rewatching Clone Wars too, and those first couple episodes definitely have bad animation, but that's kind of to be expected, a pilot episode not having good budget. But then it gets to a level where it's definitely fine, and it doesn't distract you with how bad it is. But Bad Batch is just a different level. Sorry, I am like recovering from a cold. I'm not contagious, but I had a pretty bad case of the flu, but it's been past 10 days, so I'm not contagious anymore. Um, and yeah, so yeah, the Bad Batch really blows the Clone Wars out of the water on animation. Everything is really quite great, and there's some scenes that are really amazing, like related to like nature and like the clouds and like space. Like some of it is just really really nice work from all the animators. Um, and honestly, I don't want to be like mean, but that's where like the the besting of the Clone Wars ends. To me, like it either matches the Clone Wars in the case of a few episodes, um, like the finale episodes did match like the highs of the Clone Wars. But other than that, the show mostly has problems, in my opinion, uh, that make it worse than the Clone Wars. First off, I would say there's like a fair few voice actors that like don't really fit with Star Wars and seemed kind of out of place. Like the voice actor for the character Sid, I felt was like not very good. And then like a few other ones, like the Kaminoan character Nala Se. Like sometimes she was good, but then sometimes I felt like she was just like uh, she was like just like having a laugh almost. Like it was just like too over the top, like how weird her voice was. And there's just a few other characters like that. Um, Another thing I would say, obviously, this show, the not the third season, but the first two season has some like egregious filler episodes. And to be clear, I'm not saying like every episode has to be like this grand plot, because the Clone Wars does have episodes where like it's pretty like not that important. Like there's this one episode in the Clone Wars I just watched called Lightsaber Lost. The whole premise is Ahsoka loses her lightsaber and has to get it back. So it's like a very simple, non-important plot. But what I liked about the Clone Wars is even these like quote-unquote filler episodes, like they're not really filler because they bring like character development, they're entertaining, they like show you new parts of the world. But with the Bad Batch, there's like a fair few episodes, like I say like mostly in the first season, partly in the second, where it's just like a bunch of BS and just like not interesting in the slightest, and they're just like doing busy work, like chasing after animals or lost on a planet. And the whole animal thing is another problem with this show. It does kind of get repetitive where like every single episode they're like on a planet and like they encounter some monster. Which at some point it just feels like, I don't know, like Dungeons and Dragons style writing. It's just kind of like not that interesting. Now, like I said, these are not the main plot of the show, and it's not a representation of the whole thing, but it does happen quite a bit, and like I just tune out those episodes a lot. Okay, like one thing this show does very good, with the exception of one of the main characters, all of the clone characters, Crosshair, Echo, Wrecker, Hunter, am I missing one? Wait. Hunter, Echo, Wrecker, Tech, and Crosshair, right? Did I mention one twice? Let me just read. Bad Batch clones. Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, Crosshair, and Echo. Yeah, those characters are all actually like really well written. I enjoyed all of them. I'd say Wrecker's the least complex, but he was still like entertaining. The one character that really isn't very good at the beginning, I think she improves a lot, which is a credit to the writing, is Omega. She's just kind of this like hyper moralistic child that's always like telling everybody like what's the right thing to do. And yeah, that's okay, but at some point it's a little bit comical how she's just like really annoying, that she's like always trying to save everybody, and it just doesn't make sense in a lot of points. So she can be a bit of a hard pill to swallow. She does get a lot better as time goes on, and by the end of the show, I'd say I like her. I don't love the character, but like I liked her character by the end. But she's really outclassed by all the other clones minus Wrecker. I would say. Um, I'm not going to spoil what happens to a lot of the clones because I guess that's just not right, but there are some genuinely brilliant scenes and payoffs with specifically two of the characters. I would say Tech and Crosshair have the most awesome arcs for me. And Tech I didn't really find very interesting at the beginning, but he had like a really good arc and payoff to the character. And Crosshair is sort of the most interesting in my opinion, while Hunter is like the good leader, and I enjoyed his character. Echo was cool as well, but I felt like maybe he was cooler in the Clone Wars season 7. And Wrecker's kind of just like a fun comic relief character. But let's get into like the actual seasons and the episodes now. So the whole plot of Bad Batch is sort of just like an offshoot of the Kaminoans and the cloning technology, and like those episodes from the Clone Wars where we learn about Order 66. That was an episode, or season 6. Very awesome. I really love those. Everybody loves those. So season 1, yeah, so it starts out with an amazing episode that's like an hour long called Aftermath, and that's a really awesome it's a very awesome episode. I can't really remember exactly what it is about, but it's like the aftermath of Order 66, so it's a very good episode. And then, like, you have a few episodes after that are kind of, like, very forgettable, if I'm being honest. Like, a lot of the episodes aren't nearly as memorable as the Clone Wars, but, like, there's a few good ones. Then they meet Sid, and they start doing some missions, which is all good. What I do like about this is, like, they bring in a bunch of Clone Wars characters, and, like, you get to see how they're reacting to the Empire. You get, like, Cut LaQuaine, you get some other characters, and what I didn't like is they brought back those, like, dumb sister characters from Season 7, like the Martez sisters or whatever. That was awful. Let's see here. Yeah, there's the episode with Cad Bane, which I felt was good, but definitely, like, I'm looking at the IMDb ratings, and these are very inflated. Like, they're good, but they're not 8.8 out of 10s. Like, these are quite overrated. The main thing about Season 1... Oh, yeah, you had the Ryloth arc, which was actually pretty good. I enjoyed that. You get to see Cham Syndulla again. You get to see Senator Orn Free Taa from the Clone Wars, which was nice. You get to see Hera from Rebels. You get to see Chopper from Rebels. Always like Chopper. Oh yeah, this one called Infested is the lowest rated of the season. Yeah, this was like pure filler, very boring, annoying episode. But then, like, the last 3 episodes of the season are really great. You return to Kamino, and you sort of see what the season's been building up to, in that, like, the Empire is looking to, like, secure the cloning technology from the Kaminoans and ensure they don't use it to, like, help their enemies. So, basically, in episode 15 of this season, this is a spoiler for sure, but I guess I have to talk about it. So if you don't want to know, you can tune out. The Empire orbitally bombards Kamino, and it's a really awesome scene. And it's like top tier. Definitely matches the Clone Wars peaks. And the Empire destroys and kills everybody on Kamino and extracts the cloning technology and takes Nala Se to a secret location, basically. And yeah, the batch have to escape Kamino in the final episode of the season. Very, very, very good stuff. But yeah, now we go to season 2. Season 2, yeah, there's some cool episodes that start in Season 2. Like, you get to see Count Dooku's castle again. Yeah, definitely in this season we had more filler, and, like, you can definitely see in the rating there's a lot of 6 out of 10s. Oh, the episode The Solitary Clone is really good. It was a battle against Separatist holdout. We got to see Commander Cody, I think. Get to see more of Crosshair. And then Crosshair's arc continues. We had some great episodes with Senator Chuchi about the clone conspiracy and, like, clone rights and how the Empire is, like, sort of treating these former veterans so bad and they want to get rid of them because their loyalty is sort of under question now during the Empire, and they also just need a huge military to put down unrest. And then you get this great episode called Truth and Consequences, where you see the Emperor in the Senate and you see that, like, he's, like, still the man, and he sort of betrays Admiral Rampart, who's the guy that bombarded Kamino. And essentially, like, the Senate is investigating what happened to Kamino, and instead of denying it, the Emperor says that it was, like, a rogue action of Admiral Rampart, and he basically pins it on him, and then the guy's just disappeared. So the Emperor just destroys his enemies and placates the Senate. And then you have another amazing episode called The Outpost, where finally, after all this build-up, the character of Crosshair, who's sort of the clone that does not stick with the batch, just breaks. And it's a really amazing episode and scene where basically the Imperial officers are just, like, bullying Crosshair, and they're, like, treating him like garbage because he's a clone. And, like, he just finally gives up and breaks and kills his commanding officer, who's, like, essentially the whole episode is Crosshair and this other clone who go out in the wilderness to They're like fighting, I think they're either monsters or like rebels of some kind, and the clone like is dying and he needs medical attention, and Crosshair like drags him back to the base, and the officer's like, it doesn't matter, he's about to be dead, and like doesn't care at all, and says he's expendable just like you. And this is like when Crosshair just breaks, because like the whole episode he's spent with this clone fighting and you know, doing his duty, but then he comes back and they treat him like a piece of trash, and he's just like, nah, it's no, that's terrible, and it's heartbreaking. And he kills him, and then he is sent to the secret base, and he's like sort of this experimental dude. There's an episode of filler called Pabu that's not very good. Kind of an annoying character is introduced. But the last two episodes are once again match the excellence of the Clone Wars. And the final episode, Plan 99, is a amazing episode with a great character moment that I won't spoil. But it's very touching and sad, and just a great all-around episode in terms of animation, writing, world building. Everything is good. Then you got season 3. We got like 6 minutes left, honestly. Although I don't see the next person, so we might be going a little bit longer. Season 3 has way less filler, although I would say there's like way less good episodes. I think that season 3 is definitely not my favorite. I probably like season 1 the best, if I'm being honest, just because of the ending. So season 3 really doesn't have filler, and it follows a singular plot to sort of free the captive clones on Tantus, which is the secret base, and you learn about what the Empire is doing. And the part of me hates it because it's trying to make episode 9 make sense and retcon that whole plot, like with the cloning of the Emperor. And that film is not canon no matter what they do. None of the sequels are, so that was really cringe that they are trying to like, and they barely even say it out loud. They like kind of just imply it. Sorry. But yeah, so the film, yeah, I forgot to say, Omega's captured at the end of that. So she's like on the planet, and she's on there for a bit, but then she escapes when the Emperor comes to visit. One thing that shocked me about this show is Darth Vader was never in it. Like, that was shocking. Like, the Emperor was in it, like, twice. Or he was in it, like, 3 times, I think, if you count the speech on Camino, which was pretty cool. But that was, like, just a hologram. But, yeah, it was, a good season. Follows a very sort of uniform arc, and it just all culminates to the sort of escape attempt and the destruction of Tantus, which was very good, but I didn't think it was as good as the finale of season 1 or 2, frankly. But it was heartfelt and sweet, and there's a time jump at the end where Omega's like grown up and she's like ready to join the rebellion and all that. And yeah, it was quite good writing, I must say, and it sort of made her character a lot better. And what else can I say about this? Yeah, we got to see like Asajj Ventress again, which was very cool. I wish she was like, there's like some things about this show that I just really don't get. Like, they just wanted to introduce a bunch of new characters, primarily like female characters that weren't very good, like that bounty hunter character. When in my opinion, it would have been so much smarter just to like just continue developing like a great character like Asajj Ventress, and use her as the bounty hunter character, who would be much more interesting than I forget her name. It's like, oh god, what is it? Her name is Fennec Shand. Yeah, they should have just cut that character and replaced her with Asajj Ventress, so we could have seen more of Asajj Ventress, and then just had a better character. But no, Asajj got like one episode, but it was nice to see her again. So I think we're about done, but I need to see if my next show follower or whatever is here. So give me 1 second. Okay, I think she just walked in, so yeah, I'm going to sign off. It's a good show, I recommend it. It's just not as good as the Clone Wars, and that's fine. So yeah, that's been Nima Golbabai on Rollercoaster in the Clouds. See you later.